Due to the nature of this program, listener aggression is advised.
This is Chris Broderick with the Fever 333.
Pusillus Maximus from Guard.
This is Eric from Necrogoblicon.
Hey, this is Jamie from Bullet My Valentine.
Hey, you got Dimebag's Hack.
I do a million interviews, and you guys know how to have fun.
What's up? This is Sam Rivers.
And this is Damon from Sleep Killers.
What's up, guys? It's Dorothy.
Hi, I'm Todd. And I'm Frank from Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators.
This is Stephen Brewer from Westfield Massacre.
This is Joe from Dead.
This is Tommy Vex from The Bad Wolves.
This is Ivan from Disconnected. And right now, you're listening to Honest. Motherfucker.
This is Jarrett from Fools Brew, and you're listening to Honest Brutality.
Hey everybody, welcome to Honest Brutality. This is the show that is all things rock, metal, and stuff that doesn't suck. I'm your host, Evil.
And I'm Big Sloppy. And today, from Chicago, the band.
I just got cold.
I know,
Is
right?
it chilling here?
You know, I was just back east, and it was like 55 below or something back there. It's something nuts. Anyway, we got the band Fools Brew hanging out today. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
We got the whole band.
It's the whole damn band. So I need you guys to go one at a time, introduce yourselves, say what you do in the band, and we'll go from there.
My name's Jarrett. I am the Great Big Mouth.
Jake's McNasty. Guitars.
Cormander here, and I slapped the bass. What of it?
And I am Timothy James Daniels, the percussionist.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, we've been rocking you guys on the show for some time now, and what happened was a while back we heard the song "The Parade," and we featured that on our show.
Nice.
And I was unfamiliar with you guys before that, and so I thought, oh my god, it really caught me. And so I went back into your old catalog, and I went down, bought all your EPs, and downloaded them.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, and I don't buy a whole lot of music now. You know. We get stuff thrown at us all the time, but
Spotify, right?
Yeah, it's out there, unfortunately.
Well, actually, just our email accounts.
Yeah, no, it gets sent to us. Yeah. People wants to play the stuff on the show, but when I found your guys' stuff, I went out and bought it right away. Anyway,
Appreciate that.
Absolutely,
that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no,
all 4 pennies with that.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, I want to talk about you guys a little bit because you've got 3 EPs out: This Side of Sanity, The Reckoning, and New Machine.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
I heard The Parade, and then I went back and I checked out. You guys do a cover of "God'll Cut You Down," and I'm going to tell you right now, guys. I hear a lot of covers out there. That one was phenomenal. It blew me away. I wore it out. My wife said, "Turn that shit down. I've heard it enough." it's so damn good. But yeah, for people that don't know, that Johnny Cash actually made that song really big. It was an old blues singer back in the 40s or 50s, I think, did that originally. But
did I?
Anyway, your cover of it was fantastic. And we talk about covers on our show all the time. And the rule is for us to play it on a show, it's got to be as good or better than the original. And I think you guys have done the best version I've ever heard of that.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's better than the Moby version.
Yes. If you're asking, yes.
So we're not buying
it. Anyway, so you guys, I know you guys are no strangers to doing covers. I've seen some of your videos online. You do Walk and some Metallica stuff. Anyway, what made you guys want to do that song? What drew you to that?
Yeah, a lot of these covers we do, it just starts out as like hey, let's learn this song because it's cool and maybe you'll learn something from it. And then, if we play a long bar gig or something, we can throw it in there as a little treat. But yeah, that one caught on. Yeah, we did actually. You talk about like there being older versions, like definitely like snuck back to the Elvis version and stuff to use some of those lyrics that Johnny Cash doesn't, and kind of modified some of the ones that were already in there. So we definitely tried to, take the whole history of the tune and not, not just rubber stamp a Johnny Cash tune.
Yeah, it was great because you made it your own, which was bitchin'.
That was the goal, But the musically, it was most inspired by the Johnny Cash version for sure. Just that slow kind of beat going the whole time, the stomp clap kind of thing, and the drums that started off and everything, heavily inspired there.
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Well, that was on The End of the Reckoning. Ghost in the Machine, that's one of those songs to me is kind of epic because it's got a little bit of everything in it. And I like the breakdown in the middle. It's kind of a, I don't know, jazzy, bluesy kind of thing. I think that's
actually probably one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well,
overall.
It's really good, man. It covers everything.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Not one we get to play live a lot. And, at this point, we're a few years removed from that EP and everything. So people who are just kind of jumping in who don't do any backtracking don't really know too much about it. But it's always kind of been one of our faves. And we try to work it in as much as possible. But, yeah, with that, set lengths and our, it being a long fucking song doesn't always get the attention I think it deserves. Yeah, it's good to hear that.
We kind of jumped right in to everybody assuming that they are familiar with you and your music, and let's assume that they're not. You guys are a very distinct sound that's very reminiscent of some of the metal icons of the late 90s and early 2000s, in my opinion. I'm curious how you got started, how you guys started this thing up, how your sound evolved, all of that.
Well, that's a good story. No, it's not. When we started, we were not good.
Oh, so bad.
And I'm taking it up. So you were saying how there's, 3 EPs under our belt. That's all the world knows about. There are more, but we're not sharing those. Really.
It's like those first 4 Pantera albums that they just pretend never existed.
Oh, wait a second.
He was calling himself Diamond Daryl.
Easy, Tiger. Mm-hmm. Don't be going after projects in the jungle and talking shit.
I'm just saying, they don't even recognize it on the official Pantera website.
I know, it's terrible.
Yeah, so when we first started, really, Timmy was the only person who played his instrument. We're all band kids. So I was actually a trumpet player all through college and everything. Corey and Jarrett were both saxophone players. And Timmy, again, was the only one on his real instrument. So this was all kind of secondary stuff that we were just doing for fun. And it was definitely a learning experience just to kind of start things out. Much more rock, too, because Jarrett could not scream at all.
Wow.
We kind of got things started back in 2010, just during summer and winter breaks from college and stuff, just figuring it all out. And as we got better, our music got better and got heavier because we could do more things that were reminiscent of some of those heavy metal icons that you were talking about, which is what we grew up on. So, we just kind of slowly worked our way into more of that metal sound. And, we haven't looked back ever since.
Yeah, it was the deeper I get into metal, obviously there's way more screaming and guttural vocals and stuff. And I was you're oh man, I think I can do that. I want to try to do that. And I feel like that's the thing that everyone's well, I could do that. And then when it comes game time to do it in front of people in a microphone, you're oh no, I suck at this. I can't do this. And it's not like there's a lot of resources out there. At least at the time there weren't. Now there's a little bit more about how to do it. So it's a lot of just trial and error. What if I do this? No, that's not gonna work. And then, you slowly kind of get some techniques down and shit. So, it's second nature now, but I'm sure I'm doing vocal damage for a couple of years there. Where I was literally just screaming as loud as I could because that's the only way I could figure out how to do
it. Were you guys always metal guys, rock guys, or did you kind of grow into it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, we were always into metal, especially Timmy and Corey. For sure. I know Jarrett and I listened to a lot of rock bands and stuff too, which kind of influenced us in the beginning, 311 and Audioslave and Soundgarden and stuff like that, grunge rock, everything. And so that was a little bit more heavily influenced initially. And, again, too, what he was saying with screaming was the same for me with guitar work. I could only do so much on the pentatonic scale, and that was about it. And then I started getting better and learning more stuff and listening to heavier bands and being that shit's dope. I want to learn that. and you learn some more songs, and it's like,
especially that new Bring Me the Horizon. That stuff's heavy as fuck.
Damn! Shots fired!
Oh, so many. He was on a fucking Facebook tear earlier today. It was pretty beautiful. So many people getting heated.
Well,
this week on Metal Injection.
Oh, right. Oh, damn. Well, your guitar's come a long way. You do something that a lot of bands shy away from now. You guys actually throw some lead in there, which to me, I grew up with that shit. I'm a huge Randy Rhoads fan.
I love it when I hear it.
I love Day. I love all that stuff. And when I hear lead in a song, I really am drawn to that. And I'm glad that you guys include that in a lot of your music.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. I mean, I practice for a reason, so it's good to know that.
Bro, all you need is one string.
Yeah, one string. And
put on an 8-string guitar.
It's cool that you bring that up, too, because it is frustrating. A lot of, popular music in the metal scene now requires not much. There's definitely no leads. It's a lot of just chug the whole time, and that's really it. But, again, it's kind of what you grew up on, and, I grew up on heavy music, but, like, every band that I listen to has an insane lead guitarist. Rage Against the Machine with Tom Morello, you got Pantera with Dimebag Darrell, you got Avenged Sevenfold with Sinister Gates. All these dudes are just doing insane stuff, and I'm like, I can't do that, but I want to try at least, and do something cool. And it's always the tension getting, and it just becomes a big part of music. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say don't let go of that. That's, I think, going to come back around and in a big way. And you guys seem to also have a heavy focus on the melodic. You're not just heavy. You're not just, pounding it out. You seem to have adopted this really decent balance of the heavy and the melodic, which is a really tough line to walk. It seems like bands either try to do the thing where they have the guy who's just absolutely screaming and then absolutely melodic. You guys have kind of figured out a nice middle of the road.
Comes from where you, like what you're listening to, you're going to take some of that influence. And lots of the, metal bands that have any type of melody in them, most of the ones that I like, it's one dude doing everything. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's Phil Anselmo, it's Howard Jones or Jesse and Killswitch. It's these guys who, they're not just tagging out and taking a breather while someone else does some work for a bit. Like, you got to be able to show some versatility. And I struggled, to make my scream better and then to make my melodic singing better. I don't feel like I need, a whole other vocalist, to pop in.
Yeah.
It's nice having some backup.
I don't need nobody else.
Get off my mic, motherfucker.
I got this shit.
Goddamn millennial. Never want to do any work.
Oh, my God.
Come here and sing for us.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Fools Brew getting political.
Good Lord.
That just made my weekend.
Oh, mine too.
Hey, Jarrett, speaking of your vocals, you do something quite often in a lot of your songs that I don't hear any other vocalist do. You got some rapid fire shit. And I don't know how the hell you spit all those words out so quickly and you're able to enunciate them all, which is amazing to me.
I could do better.
I agree. I think you could.
Honestly, it's something that it keeps me sober at gigs because I can't get too wasted because otherwise I'll get mush mouth.
Well, I think what is it? Exit Through the Gift Shop, I think is the one on the new album where it's like, what is like 12,000 words in 30 seconds or something?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Sometimes you get an idea and you're like, I'm just going to do this just to prove that I can.
Right.
He wrote his entire autobiography in that 2 lines.
Well, I think it's amazing, man. I mean, you got a few songs that do it, but there's one song, actually there's a couple songs on the new album I want to talk to you about. And one I think is fucking genius. It's something we talk about on this show a lot is Ghost Riders.
Yeah.
That to me is one of the most poignant songs I've heard in a while. You know what it reminds me of is Smells Like Teen Spirit from Nirvana. The way they went after the industry.
Timmy.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys went full bore after the industry, and you're fucking right.
Oh, yeah, dude. This is everyday bitch fest.
Right.
Yeah, no, that was honestly, it was a really fun song for us, and it was something that we knew we wanted to do, but we just knew we couldn't do it like half-ass. You know what I mean? We had to go all in. We had to go balls deep. And I remember Jarrett one day was just kind of talking about how a lot of these ghostwriters and a lot of melody in some of the main pop tunes nowadays have that descending minor third. And we were just kind of talking about it a little bit, and just like, why don't we just like try writing a melody with that, see what happens. And that's how we came up with that chorus idea. And from there, we were just like, let's just go full bore and just mock this fucking whole pop music industry world and just tear them apart at the same time, but still make it our own and have fun with it.
Looking at you, Bring Me the Horizon.
Wow! I'm gonna send him that audio.
Oh my god!
Ding!
Damn!
So yeah, the entire song is funny. We were actually just talking about this with some friends of ours in the metal experience the other day, and it's like literally this song is like everything we hate about music, but we made it one of our own songs.
Right.
So like you have that pop music descending minor third chorus. You have
that ban-ow. It's just it's the same thing over and over. You hear in so many songs.
Yep.
It's just that same repetitive shit.
Yeah. And then the mumble rap in the one verse, and then the da-da-da-da-da-da in the next verse. And then the build up to the breakdown is like every fucking EDM tune, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after that, you know, like
we got our classic overdone metal breakdown in there too. So we're opportunity.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it. Yeah.
It's kind of quietly brilliant because you're actually looking like you're paying homage to all of these. It really, it's kind of, no, I know that, right? We know that. The listener, of this podcast will know that. But what I'm getting at is it's
pretty cool.
Exactly. It's kind of brilliant. Like, oh, look at, they're paying homage to all. Look at this. And you guys are actually, completely twerking your nose at it and going, this is fucking bullshit.
Fuck you.
Yeah. The lyrics are like,
hilarious.
Yeah.
Is like the response you get, like people who don't read the lyrics are like, dude, this is a really catchy tune, you guys.
It is catchy though.
It's like the ultimate inside joke kind of song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig it.
That's why I say it's much like Smells Like Teen Spirit in that same way.
Yeah.
Where they were mocking the industry. And I think I was reading the lyrics. And I'm like, holy fuck, they're saying something, which was great. A lot of bands are afraid to fucking say anything. And you guys just nailed it.
And we, I don't know if you guys have watched that video at all or not yet, but we kind of really dug in deeper as soon as we did that video. That was a blast with all the like costume changes and shit.
Oh, yeah.
But like there was boy band us, there was country pop star us, there was hip hop us. I was Skrillex for a second there.
Yep.
Timmy was fucking Marshmallow.
Put a bucket on my head. That was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever dealt with.
You should live with
and I wore skinny pants, which I never do.
We're like, let's just have some fun with this. You know what I mean?
So what's it look like right now? What does your world look like as far as the venues you're playing, the future that you have, the shows you have lined up? How are you feeling about everything?
We're just rolling in cash, just strippers, bitches.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Anyway,
I have to beat them off with a stick.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, it sucks, right, guys?
The industry blows in general, but like
we get it.
We got we're playing House of Blues here in Chicago in about a week.
Yeah.
Local scene seems like it's getting a lot better in Chicago, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Lots of great Chicago metal bands coming up. It's neat. We're already back writing more stuff. That's already partially recorded. Just got to keep the ball rolling all the time.
Well, you just dropped this EP, 2 or 3 months ago, I think. And you guys let the parade out like a year and a half ago, right?
While we were recording The Reckoning, we wrote the song The Parade. That guy that we recorded with, Chris Steinmetz, was kind of heavily pushing us towards coming up with a big like radio single after this EP comes out, and thinking that would be really good strategy for us to have, so to speak. So not like The Parade is a radio single necessarily, but it has a little bit more of that formula, and we focus on being just as heavy as we are, but having a nice, catchy, quick kind of chorus and tune in general. And
So yeah, we were like, you know what, this song is fucking killer. We really love it. We need to get it out there as soon as possible. So we decided to just record it as a single and get a killer video out with it. That was actually our first one. And yeah, I mean, we knew it was going to be a statement maker too for this next EP. So we wanted it to be the opening track. But we wanted to get it out as quick as possible. So
yeah. It's a stone cold killer. But I'm going to tell you the song that gets me on this album is The Faceless. I don't know what it is about that song, but every time I hear it, every time I hear it, I just want to punch somebody. It's so fucking heavy.
Fuck yeah,
It makes me want to headbutt a tornado, you know?
It's really refreshing to hear because that song is probably the least popular, just based on like what we've kind of heard from people. But I know at least for me, it's one of my favorites. When we wrote it, recorded it, everything, like, it's about, you know, the underdog and like, I don't know, just kind of knowing that you're going to fucking go down and shit, but you're going to stand your ground regardless. You know what I mean? And we tried some new stuff with that. We were much more groove oriented and rhythmic with the vocals. And I tried out some new shit with the new pedal just cause why not? And yeah, I don't know. We had a blast with that song, man. So that's good to hear.
Well, I was thinking about it. I said, if I had a walk-up song in a baseball stadium, if I was coming up to bat, that's what I play until they got to the vocals. They'd have to cut that. Just opened up with a big F-bomb.
It's funny you mentioned that for two reasons. One, because that song was actually like lyrically inspired by this comic I saw of just a few frames, and it was these, like this meteor coming to Earth, and he's feeling the news, and these scientists like, there's probably nothing we can do about this, and it's just everyone running and panicking and like accepting death, basically. And then there's just this girl standing on a mountaintop with a baseball bat, watching it come in.
You gonna take it on?
Like standing in there, just like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, I dig it.
That's pretty awesome. And then same as your walk-up song. So actually know a semi-pro wrestler who now uses "God'll Cut You," our version of "God'll Cut You Down" as his walk-up song.
No way! I love it,
and it was awesome.
So, guys, tell me a little bit. You seem to be laced in cynicism, and I don't mean that as a negative thing. I mean, is it part of where?
I don't believe you.
Is it part of where you come?
Happens when you live somewhere that's cold.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is? That's what I was going to ask you. Is it regional? Is it where you live? I mean, what is your what's your beef with the industry so far? Is there a story there?
It's you see a lot of like your heroes and bands you look up to and stuff, and I mean, who just get chewed up and spit out, and what big metal band in the last however many years hasn't had some giant dispute or lawsuit with a label or with Warner Brothers or it just seems like it's just constant bullshittery. It's really it's frustrating because you see like, okay, yeah, if we can just get to this level, and then you see everyone even beyond that level who are just constantly just talking about how much of a drag so much this industry is, and how I was reading Randy Blythe's book that he wrote, and he multiple times he refers to himself as a traveling, screaming black T-shirt salesman.
yeah. I've read it. It's a great book, by the way. Highly recommend it.
It is a great read.
Yeah.
About his whole ordeal in the Czech Republic and everything. But yeah, it's frustrating. We try to just focus on the music because that's what it's really all about, and that's what makes us happy and everything. And we like playing live and stuff. But yeah, it's you have this, quote unquote machine, but it's it is still kind of in charge of things. It's not like radio, FM radio defines what songs are going to be hits quite as much nowadays, but there's still a lot of influence and things like that. And, I think metal as a community does a lot of like infighting, and we're just more pissed at everyone outside of it.
Isn't that interesting though? That's a really good point. That's kind of why I wanted to lead you down this path. You seem like you have something you really want to say about it. And I completely agree. I think Honest Brutality as a whole completely agrees. We've heard it time and again. We see it all the time. In fact, without the infighting, a good 2/3 of our show would be,
it's pretty fucking boring.
That's what we talk about. But
Pretty boring.
Yeah, but the reality is that there's something odd about the entire industry as a whole. It's falling apart at the seams, and yet it's reemerging. And people are frustrated with it because I don't think they understand what it is. I don't think we understand what the modern industry is. So what do you guys propose to do about it as a young, burgeoning, emerging band that has a quality product? How do we change it? What do you think?
Just got to make metal great again,
Oh my God.
And he takes the easy way out.
We are seeing you mentioned
I just wanted to say that.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
That's fun.
No, it's funny. You guys did mention that your metal scene is growing back. We're actually seeing it out here where we're at as well. We've got a bunch of little festivals starting to pop up, really pushing the local bands real heavy. And so you're getting all this exposure they haven't had in years. It's been crazy. It's like hip hop and country and all that bullshit took over forever, and there hadn't been any good exposure for metal.
In Chicago, you weren't playing a mandolin with a shit beard and some flannel, you couldn't get booked.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, but we're starting to see that trend change now, at least to some degree. Matter of fact, on our radio show today, we just did a whole show dedicated to a metal festival that we have coming up here this summer. Actually, I sent you guys a link. I was hoping you guys could make it out, but I did.
Yeah.
Anyway, we dedicated a whole show to that festival, and we got 3 more coming up. We're going to be working with as well. Just these bands are getting opportunities to get out and get in front of people, and people are remembering how good fucking metal can be.
Damn right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's disappointing. You see like Warped Tour being like, we don't know if we can keep going. What's the other Uproar or Mayhem or whatever was like said it last year or 2 years ago was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's rough because like I was saying, it's hard for newer bands. It's way easier for everyone to get heard, but it's way harder for anyone to kind of stand out from the crowd. And so you don't see like these, behemoth megastar bands from like a young crop anymore. It's, you have these big metal tours, but it's still like the last time they came through was like Slayer and King Diamond headlining.
Right.
And then a bunch of like young Victory Records bands.
What an odd combo.
Yeah. Every other band there was like Jungle Rot, Whitechapel.
Yep.
Dyer's Murder.
Yeah.
Code Orange.
What is the scene like out there where you're at? We don't know. I mean, we've talked to people everywhere, but Chicago specifically, I know there's open air.
Yeah, but it's downsized.
It's downsized dramatically.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like Jarrett was kind of talking about earlier, is it's really coming up. I mean, Timmy goes to a shit ton of local shows. There's really like the premier venues are kind of harder to get into for sure still for local metal. Like there's shows every now and again, especially like during the weekdays when they kind of open it up for that.
Right.
The dive bar scene is fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
Although we just need a moment. R.I.P. the Mutiny.
Oh yeah, that's right.
One
of our little hole in the wall kind of spots that sold PBRs for $2 that we love so
Stag.
much.
Don't drink anything out of the taps because they don't clean them.
Right, exactly. That type of place.
I love it.
But I mean, this past year, we made a strong effort to just kind of get out to more shows and, really explore and see what's going on out there and try to jump on more stuff.
Support our own scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because it's not that we weren't supporting before, but like we just weren't seeing the invites. We weren't hearing about these shows quite as much. And then Timmy really kind of started befriending a lot of these guys, and all of a sudden it just seems like the world's kind of opened up to us. Like I said, the big venues, you're still kind of tough to get into, but there's local shows all the time, and you see a lot of the same faces just out there supporting and trying to keep it alive, man. And it's a good feeling for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good to hear because it's kind of the same thing happening here. So it's good to know it's not just here. You know what I mean? That's good.
Bring it back.
We're working on it. God damn it.
What do you plan on doing from here on out? What are your next steps for growth?
Yeah, you going to get out of Illinois a little bit? What's going on?
We're going to quit. Yeah, Timmy.
We're going to disband.
Honestly, just because the industry, the world, everything is constantly changing, and everything that our idols have done doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what we're really doing is we're actually kind of taking a step back and just really doing a lot of, I don't know, just thinking about what's worked in the past, what hasn't. We're reflecting a lot, and we're focusing much more on our social media and our content right now.
Right.
So that's why Jarrett was saying, like, we're working on new music. Like, I mean, we're not promoting any of that yet because New Machine is our release. That's what we want to be at the forefront of everything. But we're really starting to focus on pushing Spotify. We've got some, we're going to have a playthrough video coming out sometime soon. We're going to plan to drop a couple more music videos with singles, hopefully sometime this year, a little bit later on. And, we're going to not play as much, but go to more shows. Just to keep our faces in the scene, keep supporting and all that. And we plan on doing a longer tour later in the year, but the long tour, we kind of realized, like, as fun as it is and as much as we want to do that all the time, just it doesn't make sense for our pocketbooks. So we're going to be doing a lot more Weekend Warrior tours, kind of staying within 2 to 3 hour drives just to,
we still love you, Oklahoma and Texas. We'll be back.
Yeah, exactly. Like we would love to get out to Cali. We want to get back to Texas this year for sure. Hit the East Coast would be magical, but just we're being a lot more realistic and just kind of planning our attack much more so that way. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is. So what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to focus on the online stuff. We're going to push our music there. We're going to push our videos, all that stuff. And, just get back out on the road when we can on the weekends here and there and play some big local shows, and there you have it.
Yeah, so people in our, general area will feel like, we're not playing quite as many gigs and things. We're not touring around quite as much. But guys like you who are kind of far away from us, it'll seem like we're more active because we're going to have more music for you guys, more videos.
Right.
Just trying to reach a wider, more, national, global audience.
Good.
It's easier to do that from the studio.
No, I get it.
And, from our,
That's why we don't do that many live shows.
Yeah. And it sucks because we love playing live, but it's just kind of, again, it's the way the world works now, and we're just trying to play the game.
I mean, you could have a successful just ad Facebook campaign, YouTube campaign, whatever it is, and that honestly could do just as much as a small tour sometimes, just if you know what you're doing. I mean, social media, there's a lot of intricacies with it, and if you know how to work it right, you can start building up a fan base by not even leaving your desk. I mean, it's
pretty unfortunate,
kind of crazy.
In a way, huh?
Like I said, yeah, it is for sure. Like we'd love to go and travel 1,000 miles and play somewhere, and we still want to do that, but you have to be a little smarter about it.
What do you guys feel about these buy-ons? Because here's the reason I ask. Is I've always been kind of opposed to them to some degree, but we recently dealt with a band.
Got educated a little.
Yeah, we did. There's a band from France. They're called Disconnected. They just bought on to a tour with Tremonti, of all people, and they toured Europe. And it was hefty, what they paid, and I thought it was an inordinate amount. But in talking
we
to
had
them,
a full conversation with the band.
Not a big fan of pay to play.
Yeah.
No, neither are we.
Neither were we.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when they got out and they did this tour, their thoughts were they would have paid more. They thought it was great. As a matter of fact, they came back after the tour and ended up opening up for Judas Priest on a big stage.
I talk about return on investment.
Yeah. And so it's actually started to pay off for them a little bit. But you don't hear that a lot. Typically it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what your guys' thoughts were on that as well.
It sucks and it's gross, but I don't know how else you do it anymore because it's not like they're just offering this stuff for bands anyways. And Corey was kind of talking a second ago about, you can accomplish more from your desk with ads and targeted campaigns and all that. That shit costs money too. No matter what, to get your name out there, your music out there, aside from cool people like yourselves, we got to fucking pay for it, So at this point, like,
shape or fashion,
if Kill Switch was like, hey, you guys can pay us this much money and tour with us for like a few months, it'd be like, okay, sure, like, fuck it, dude. Yeah, I'm not going to say no to that opportunity,
Yeah.
But,
I get it.
We've been
it sucks that that's what it is, but,
Yeah, we've been approached by bands to buy onto tours, and they wanted exorbitant amounts, and I'm looking them up on Facebook like, who the fuck are you?
Really?
It really depends. Like, if so that band was fine on with Tremonti. Fuck yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you think that it's going to be a big enough audience and it's worth your time, it's your money, you spend it. But
you may not ever get that opportunity again.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, now it's like every band who has any, little bit, they basically they build it into their budget that they're going to have bands buy onto their tour with them.
Right.
Even when they're a band that would be buying on with, somebody like Tremonti or Killswitch or whatever. So the problem is it's bleeding down to where basically everyone's just trying to feed off of anyone they think is the level below that, or, below that and below that and below that.
Right.
They're trying to nibble off everybody else. So, it's dicey. It can be really, helpful for some bands, but I think a lot of other bands are getting taken advantage of at the same time.
I think you're right. And I think that's the opinion of a lot of people, is that a lot of the lower bands that think they're going to get something and they don't for that large amount of money, and it hurts.
They're paying on so that the other band doesn't have to worry about their maybe lacking ticket sales on that tour.
It's so true. It's very true.
However many grand a week. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you nailed it. It's absolutely right. And the little guys, they get beat up a lot. But I'll tell you what, we talked to Boba Flex. Are you guys familiar with that band?
Oh yeah. We opened with them before. We were actually we almost were going to open for them next month, but okay. So we're not going to be able to anymore. But yeah, we know about them.
They lost their label and all that, but they found a way where they can actually make money touring by doing away with the labels and all that other shit. And they just approach these bars as they're a shell. And we're going to fill this up. We're going to get a cut of the bar. And the way they do it now, they actually make a living touring, whereas before they weren't making dick. And they found a way to tour the Midwest, especially. They never come out here, those fuckers. Anyway, they tour the Midwest because they can fill it up in the Midwest for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, but they find a way to fill those places up, and they make a living playing music.
Yeah, that's how we got hooked up with before. A guy we used to work with, he's like, yeah, dude, they're like DIY. I think you learn a lot from them.
Yeah.
And it was neat chatting with Marty and him. They've seen a lot. All kinds. They've seen what there is to see, and so it was educational. It was a fun time playing with them, and it was really cool talking with them and kind of seeing what they had to say and how they've been trying to work things. So yeah, it's a decent strategy.
It can be done, is what it comes down to.
Yeah,
it can be done. Yes.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of faith too to be able to get there. I don't know what it takes, because I listen to your guys' music and I'm like, why isn't everybody playing this? To me, you guys are one of the most.
Right.
I think you're one of the most exciting young bands out there. I think more people need to hear your music. I push you everywhere I can. I really do.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
I push a few people your way.
They have
today.
glorious facial hair. They look like they eat well.
Exactly.
They got a lot going on.
So anyway, we're doing what we can to help you out, and we want to see you do well. We really do.
Thank you very much for that.
Is there anything we didn't talk about that you guys wanted to talk about?
What do you like to do in your free time?
This is it. This is
Yeah, this is it. I don't believe it.
Yeah, you're looking at it, buddy.
Seriously.
We do music when we're not doing other shit. We're always doing something with music.
It's always music. It's almost, I would say, 23 hours of the day.
Yeah.
Even in my sleep, I'm like, oh, I got to message that band. Yeah?
Yeah. I shit you not. I spend probably 30 to 40 hours a week strictly seeking out unsigned or signed unheard of bands that are out there just to try to get them exposure on our show. That's what I do.
That's awesome. And that's, it's frustrating that that's like what it takes. But then you're like, hey, yeah, remember when fucking labels used to pay people to do that shit?
Right.
Yeah, we are basically an unpaid A&R. That's really what we are. Yeah.
But it's our passion. Yeah, no. You know what I mean? Our passion is...
Hey, good, man.
Yeah.
Right. People like you guys doing that.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I said, everyone can put their shit on Spotify, but like, you guys listen. You have, what good music is. You've been, I don't know, listening to metal. I don't know how long you've been fucking listening to metal, but
before you were born, buddy.
But yeah, everyone needs little boost once in a while.
That's kind of the idea. And we know because Evil and I were musicians at one point.
Yep.
And, we never got the exposure, and we know what it means to get some exposure. So we do our damnedest to help, bands out that we feel deserve it. And we handpick the bands we go after to have on our show. We really do. We don't just take everybody on. We don't give a fuck who they are, how big they are, whatever. If we don't like them, they don't get on our show.
And the selling point is that we're handing this right over to people who are looking for music that want to hear something new and exciting, and they don't want to do the work. So we're kind of the.
I think the thing that pisses us off the most is people say there's no good bands anymore. There's no good music
hate that more than any one
I
thing.
just want to strangle a motherfucker.
Dude, that's the thing too. You want to hear what pisses us off and what gets us angry about shit. People only listening to the same fucking bands they listened to when they were 15.
Thank you.
The problem with the metal scene in Chicago for the longest fucking time, and it still is somewhat of an issue here, is the only bands getting booked at bigger venues are fucking cover bands.
Yeah,
just going up there playing
ridiculous.
A song somebody wrote 30 goddamn years ago, never writing a lick.
Don't stop believing.
Is that Bring Me the Horizon?
You know what's the worst? What's funny too is that you were talking about the scene and all that stuff. Our best paying gigs are when we open for tribute bands. And they're usually the best turnouts too. And it fucking tears at our hearts because we have to do covers and originals for those shows. And we'll play, an original, crush it, and you'll get a few claps and woo out there. And then we start down the sickness, and all of a sudden they lose their fucking mind. You know what I mean? And it's
listen to some new shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's obvious that you're not making enough money because you can't afford a decent cell phone.
Damn, it just got real. You want some fucking honest brutality? There it is, bitch.
We're not used to this.
I'm very good at sending dick pics.
That's the problem. You're not supposed to send them through the mic.
I've got this
doing it wrong all these years.
Got this miniature Coke can, makes you look real big. That's real size.
Oh my god, it's so girthy.
All right.
Oh my god.
Good day.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Where can
it's very cold out here.
Where can the listening audience connect with Fools Brew? Where can they find your music? Where can they listen to it? Where can they talk to the band or find out where you're playing?
For music, Spotify, we're everywhere, you know what I mean? But Spotify, Google Play, Apple Music, iTunes, you can also go to Reverb Nation and our Facebook page. Facebook page is definitely the best for interaction. We're always talking to our fans. Whoever messages us, you're always going to get a response.
Twitter, Instagram,
Snapchat. Everything is at Fools Brew or /Fools Brew. Just type that shit in and you'll fucking find us.
Okay.
Bands in town too. You can find us on there.
FoolsBrewBand.com is going to get launched this coming week.
So, really?
We're working on that.
That's exciting.
A little relaunch here, yeah.
Yeah, we're a relaunch. It's
well,
going to be better.
I have. Let me ask you guys this.
Cartel.com for our online store.
Let me ask you this. What is the place where you guys benefit the most when people purchase your product? Where do you want them to go for that?
Live shows is best for that.
Okay.
Or buying it on iTunes. I love the convenience of Spotify.
Right.
But yeah, every Spotify play we get like 0.7 of a cent or something like that.
Yeah.
That could be changing soon.
Well, I hope it does.
It could
I really do.
Yeah.
At the moment, that's about where it's at. So Spotify's great. I like to use it to find new bands, but then when I see that I like it, go buy that shit. Go on iTunes. You'll be able to buy hard copies of our EPs on our online store.
There it is.
Those can get shipped out to you. So, yeah.
Or you can listen to Honest Brutality on Rock Rage Radio every Saturday, and they get one full cent eventually.
Yes.
God damn right.
I don't know.
We love you.
We love you. All right, guys, you have been fantastic guests. Thank you so much for doing the show.
Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah,
anytime.
Next time, let's text. This will go much smoother.
You'll guaranteed to get all of it.
Well, Big Sloppy, do I now finally get a little bit of a reprieve from your constant and incessant, we have to have Fools Brew on this show?
No. I love this band too much.
I know you do.
As you know, this is probably, I shouldn't say my favorite, but it's one of my favorite
bands. I do know
bands.
that. And it's actually a funny thing.
You know what? Fuck it. It's my favorite band right now. It really is.
That's
it really
super
is.
cool. It's funny because here at Honest Brutality, we deal with a lot of music, and it's pretty rare that we actually bring our favorites, even if we can work with them, to the table because things don't work out.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we got to do it because they're one of my favorites too.
Yeah, they're so good. I mean, if you like, Avatar, Lamb of God, Pantera, any of those bands.
They very much have a Pantera feel, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you really kind of bleeds through what they're doing.
And all three of their EPs, by the way, are really good. And you can actually hear the progression in their maturity as a band as you go through them. The latest one, New Machine, holy fuck, is really strong and poignant lyrically. If you listen closely, it'll blow you away.
Yeah, very talented, smart young men that are freezing their asses off and need to be fed. So go check out Fools Brew. Give them a like, give them some love, check them out, and, buy a couple songs. Help feed the machine.
Yeah, quit being a greedy motherfucker and spend a few bucks. Jesus Christ.
We really appreciate everyone who tunes in and listens to this podcast and our radio shows. Thank you so much. Speaking of our radio shows, we are on every Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Rock Rage Radio. We are also there on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for Center Stage. That is a show where we take a band and we mix up our conversation with them with their music for 1 full hour. It's a focus spotlight show. It's a lot of fun. Don't miss it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What he said.
That guy. You can also check us out on all of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Come on over, say hi, join the fun, give us a like. We really appreciate that. And wherever you're listening to the podcast, do us a favor and give us a rating and a review. And if you'd like to talk to us and reaching out to one of us in any of the conventional ways isn't working, give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call. 530-962-0411. Again, that's 530-962-0411.
Be good people, take care of one another, and most importantly, stay metal. Hey, Fools Brew, what do you think?
This is Jarrett from Fools Brew, and you're listening to The Faceless on Honest Brutality.
Into the shade of catastrophe, corner of amnesty, travesty, lose, collective doom, imminent majesty, nowhere to hide, not a room or sacristy, no use in the tree, now I'm the fucking cavalry, won't be a victim of circumstance, locked in a coward's trance, climb to the skies in a durable advance, step up, standing tall, back against the wall, in my stance, not afraid to take my fucking chance. How bad do you want it? Saunter out of the shadows, just a J-Doe with the ammo and spirit, jumping with grit from head to toe, and not to new, lacking a clue they should fear too, just lacing them up cause there's a job to do.